Are we set?
We're good to go.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today for this wonderful arrangement we're going to learn how to make today. I'm going to show you how to put it together and show you all the materials that I have in it. I'm Dondi from FloraCraft, and we have Stacy on chat. She can answer any questions that you have, and if she can't answer them, she'll stop me and I can answer them for you. A little about FloraCraft for you guys that don't know us. We are the foam people. So we have our green floral foam. We have our white craft foam. Our green is green because it blends nicely with florals and greenery. Our white is white so that you can make it any color, any surface that you want. It's a nice base for you. Today we are using our 6-inch FloraFōM cube. It's all you're going to need to stick inside the container to put in all these florals. So I have this floral bush or bouquet. If you can't find this exact bouquet, this one has, looks like 6 peonies on it. They're kind of frosted. It's got some berries. It's got a little bit of pine in it, a couple different pine, and it has a couple big pine cones. But again, if you can't find this exact bush, you can use separate pieces. Find some red berries, find some greenery, find some pine cones, and it'll work just as well. These are all in Michael's seasonal aisle, this bouquet, and also this one. This one's more greens, greenery, pine cones, berries, some different types of pine cones. Again, if you can't find this exact bush, find stuff like it. Let's see how many it has on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 5 branches on that one. And there's like 10 things on that one. And then I found this beautiful branch. It's just painted white. It's got a little bit of silver glitter on it. Again, if you can't find this exact branch, you can find something similar, even if it's brown or if it's green. If it's a brown branch, spray paint it white, sprinkle it with some silver glitter, and you'll make your own product. Then I found this basket in their Christmas containers. They had this basket. They have just a regular round basket that's not a Santa hat. So anything will work. I did look online. They have some really cute galvanized containers, square containers that have these cute little Christmas scenes on the front of them. Those would work. I saw some little wooden crates that would also work for this arrangement, or even just a plain basket that you have and just decorate it up with some ribbon. So if you can't find these exact products at Michael's, just want you to know that there are options. And also, if you feel like you're getting behind or missing something or missed a step, don't worry about that. We are recording, so you'll be able to watch it again. It's usually up on Michael's YouTube channel in 24, 48 hours. So first thing we're gonna do is secure our brick inside of our container. So all I'm gonna do is just get a good amount. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't tell you to do overhead. You're already on overhead? There we are. So the first thing I'm going to do is just get some glue on here so we can secure it. So a little bit about FloraCraft. We started making our own foam, and what we do is we take clothes hangers that would normally end up in the landfill, and we recycle them into our foam. So our foam is now a little better for our planet. So on this floral basket or bush, all I'm going to do is just start by just taking all the branches off.
Gandhi, just really quick, what kind of glue did you use for that foam?
If you have a little bit of trouble getting them off, if you bend the stem back and forth as you're cutting, it will pop that stem off a little easier for you.
Gandhi, could you tell us what kind of glue you used?
Yes, I can. We use on our FloraFōM a low temp glue gun. And this I found at Michael's. It's a Craft Smart, and it's over on the back wall, kind of in the floral department. But you have to check the package because there's a lot of high temp glue guns there too, and high temp will melt your foam. So you'll notice that not all of these are the same length, all these branches. So just find your longest one. Looks like this guy. I'm just gonna push his leaves up so you can see him at the top. And a little glue on the end of your stem helps it secure into the foam real good. And I'm just gonna pop that guy right there in the center. And that's gonna be the tallest flower. Now the rest of these, I'm just gonna work in around this outside edge. A little bit of glue. And these I'm gonna bring down a little lower. And kind of out to the side a little. And you can see that that one is quite a bit taller than the other. All right, and then you have 4 more flowers. So all I'm gonna do is just go right around this outside edge with these. A little more glue to help it secure in. And we'll put that one about right there. So they're probably maybe like 4 or 5 inches apart. Take another one, a little glue. In there. You can let their little greenery just kind of flow over the edge. All right. And all this is doing is just kind of giving our arrangement a shape. So you get your shape right, and then you can go back in and just fill in.
Gandhi, instead of using glue for the foam, could you also use an anchor tape to secure the foam?
Absolutely. I don't know how well the anchor tape is going to hold to the basket, but you could even use wire. The paddle wire, you find that right by the glue guns back on that back wall in the floral department. So as you can see, I have them all kind of evenly spaced around this tallest center one. And then one of these pine cones on here is a little taller. So I'm going to use that right up top next to this tallest flower. maybe there, maybe a little bit lower than your flower. And then if you're using it as a centerpiece, I just like to make it so that front and back both have kind of the same look. So since I put a pine cone over there, I'm gonna stick one over here on this side. There's that one. And then we also have 2 of these red berries on here. Again, whatever berries you find are fine. I'm gonna go ahead and put one of these right in the front. And then one of these towards the back so that you have it in both front and back. Like so. All right, I'm gonna move this aside and show you this other bush. If you find a bush like this one, the only thing holding it together is this paper wrapping, and I want the length of these stems. So what I do actually is just snip this paper. And I know you're not supposed to use scissors like this, so be careful if you are. But if you just cut down this paper and open it up, you can use all the stems that are inside. There we go. So there's one. And if they have that inside, just twist it together, put it back. So there's one. There's another one. Another one. Another pine cone, and then this other little greenery. So you get all of that out of this one bush, and then you can use it to fill in around your flowers. And this one's kind of funny on the end, so I'm just going to trim that. All right, so it looks like I have this kind of a branch over here. So I have another one here. I'm gonna add over on this side of the, I see you put me on front view. Is that a little easier to see what I'm doing? All right. And maybe we'll put this other red one right in the front. And I'm not gluing all of these in, but you should be. Go ahead and put a little glue on the end of each of the stems before you insert them. So you can see it's filling in a little bit of red on 3 sides now. So looks like maybe back here we could add a little more red. Oh, that's a pine cone. All right, well, let's put a pine cone in.
Just a reminder for anyone who might have joined us a little later, go ahead and ask any questions that you might have in the chat, and we'll go ahead and get those answered for you.
Thank you, Stacy. All right, looks like I have another pine cone here. Scoot this guy over. So that's basically all you're doing is you're just filling in. You want to be able to see, you want to have interest on every side of your arrangement.
Would it be okay to arrange your stems first and then going back and gluing afterwards?
I guess, yeah, if you're a little unsure and you want to have time to to go back and change it, sure. That's actually a pretty good idea, because all you'd have to do is just reach in, you know, pull it out enough. You don't have to pull it all the way out so that you forget where you put it. But if you pull it out just enough, add a little glue and reinsert it, sure. When you're positive, you have it where you want it.
Is that kind of foam good for repoking stems and moving them around?
Absolutely, it'll hold them strong in there. Yeah, you know, even if it's the same hole and you put it in at a little bit of a different angle, it'll still secure it in there nice for you. Take a peek here. It's hard to do it when you're not looking at the front of it. All right, I think I'm gonna stick this guy right here in the front. All right. So you should have a few pine cones. You should have your berries, kind of have them all equally spaced apart. Make sure that you have a little bit of interest on every side, so everybody gets to see a little something pretty, no matter where they're sitting. And you don't really, I mean, this doesn't have to be a centerpiece. It could be, you know, maybe it sits on a little table next to your front entry, or maybe it sits on the porch on a little stool, or, you know, have fun with it. I know my table isn't even big enough to put this thing on, so I'd have to find an alternate spot for it. So all I'm doing here is just clipping these branches off, and if whatever you guys are using, looks like I have about 2, 4, it looks like I have 6 stems of this. And I'm gonna have one of these tall ones. And then for this one too, kind of have everything, almost everything at kind of the same level with the florals and the greenery so far. They kind of just a dome. But with these, I kind of break that, and it gives a little dimension. So I've put these out a little taller. And it just adds dimension, adds a little interest to your arrangement when you have some stuff coming out of it. And these are bendable, so you can kind of play with them and open them up so they fill a little nicer. And with these two, you just evenly spaced.
Emily in chat said she would love to have it on her front porch, but the birds always try to roost in there at night. She's had birds in her wreaths on her doors.
That's great. That's so cool. Do you have pictures? I would love that. I would have to put up more wreaths so more birds would come.
If you did put this on your porch, how does it hold up in the weather?
Well, this basket, I believe, would hold up in the weather. The only thing that I would worry about is the flowers if they got wet and frozen, but the foam will absolutely hold up fine. I think if it was a covered porch where it's not going to get snowed on, it would be fine. And also, if you have this 6-inch cube and you decide, oh darn, I can't find a basket big enough for this cube, you can find yourself a long serrated, even like a bread knife, anything serrated and long enough to cut through it. And you can cut that brick down and fit it into any container that you want. And it just cuts real easy. So another thing you could use on these branches, if you can't find these branches at Michael's, if you find just a brown branch that you like and you spray paint it white, you can grind our craft foam, our white craft foam, you can grind it together and make your own snow.
Anyone else in chat have any ideas of what else they could add to this arrangement?
Any ideas? I have some ideas for later. I was going to show you.
Looks like we have lights, a bird, a fake one, of course.
Well, unless you're the other lady, then you'll have real birds in it.
Someone asked if you could use hairspray for the glittery items.
I've not personally tried hairspray with glitter, but geez, I don't know why not. I mean, it's sticky. It kind of, I mean, it seals my hair, so. All right, I'm not really sure what to do with this one. So it's filling. I think I made this all a little bit taller than the other one. So pretty, looks like I have all my flowers in. On the front of here is this cute, they put a couple little pine cones and a little berry and pine. And I just thought it would be cute just to add a little of this white in there. So all I did was take a couple sprigs, add a little glue, and pop that in there just to bring that white down. I don't really like that one. And if you didn't save any, you can reach inside and grab you something that's kind of hidden from inside and just use that. Oops. Any other questions do we have? Nobody has any questions today? All right. So that's with just the 3 bushes. Super simple, super easy. Show you some alternatives that you can use. Like this could be for like the beginning of December. It's just wintry and it's fun and it's kind of doesn't scream Christmas at you. But if you wanted it to scream Christmas a little later in the month, I found these little ornaments. So you can add little bundles of ornaments. This is 18 gauge stem wire. This is in the floral department at Michael's also. And all I did was just take it in the end and just twist the little wire around it. And I don't know that Michael's has the exact ornaments, but I know that they have tons of them. So I'm sure you'll find something similar. But after you get it on the stem, you're just going to cut it to size. And then this would just be fun just to, I think I'm going to use my other one. It's a little more compact. So this would be fun just to add in, and it would just add a little shine in there. And it would bring some of that red up to the top like that. So you could put red in there, which I think is super cute. And I'll show you what it looks like. If you wanted to do larger ornaments, all I did was wrap the little stem wire around the top of the ornament, glue it in place, and you could put in just full-size ornaments for another look.
We also had someone suggest maybe a bow, a pretty cardinal, a tiny snowman ornament, just some
So
other.
that's
Yeah.
with the large ornaments, which I think is really pretty. And then just changing out the color of them just changes the ornament, the wreath or the arrangement quite a bit. So that's with silver. I mean, look at how fun that is with that little bit of sparkle. Kind of blends in, but it just adds a little shine if you don't want to bring a lot more color up there. And then you could even paint them chalkboard and you could even put like little snowflakes, little draw little snowflakes on there. But that even, and I thought black, no, not black. But then look, it's not too bad. It's kind of cute, especially if there was little white snowflakes on there. Be cute. So that's the different ornaments I found that I thought would kind of spruce it up a little bit. And then I know that someone mentioned birds, and I found these adorable little, do we have that one too? I don't know what camera I'm on anymore. Cute little birds at Michael's. Not sure where they're, not sure which department I found these in. It was in floral department. Yeah, over there in the floral department, there's like birds and butterflies and such. But these little guys are super cute. Put a couple of these on there and let them. Can we see them? See, there's this guy here. And they just look really cute sitting in your centerpiece. Something for your guests to look at while they're eating. And then maybe you just want one great big ornament in the front. And this I would just thread on so that it has something to secure it. And then just kind of nest it down inside the arrangement. Can we see a front view? Not sure. Yeah, there he is. So you can see he just kind of makes a nice little addition, little focal point to your arrangement by setting that in there. You could also do one back here a little lower. Could change out your ribbon real easy. This is just glued on just a little bit. So if you didn't love the red ribbon, we could change our ribbon out. That's about it. I do want to show you guys how to make snow. So if you get your pine cones and you say, well, gee, that's some really pretty snow on there. I'd really like to be able to do that. We have, if you have any scrap white foam around, or you can buy a chunk of white foam. But all you have to do is just rub the two pieces together, and it acts like a sanding block, and it get some on here so I can scoop it up and show you. But we can see our top view. Let's see, it makes pretty perfect little realistic snow by just rubbing the two pieces of foam together. And that would be great on your pine cone.
Would you suggest adding glitter to that as well, possibly?
Absolutely. It's glitter.
You can always have more glitter.
We can always have more glitter. Was there anything else? Any other questions? What time do we have?
Did anyone want Johnny to repeat any of the steps that she did? Just to go over?
Yep, we could show you anything you need to see.
Oh, Emily even offered glitter hairspray to add more glitter to it.
There you go.
Right.
Sure, once it's all done like this, you could sparkle it up a little bit with some hairspray. Absolutely.
Oh, could you hold it up quickly so they can see the bottom with the ribbon? There you go.
You'll see that. Yep, and that's just glued on there. So, yep, and if you can't find this basket, you know, don't fret. Buy anything you find that's about this size. And like I said, if it's not the same size, don't worry about that either, because you can cut your foam to fit any container, which is what's nice about it. And it'll fit nice in there. You can glue it in there, you can wire it in there.
Dana asked if you could use the big red balls and the many red balls be shown together right now.
Absolutely. The mini red ones and the big ones. Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Yep. Like that. They work nice together.
Do you have any other projects that you could show us, Dondi? Possibly any previous class projects that are on the site?
I do. I have, actually I have, I'll leave that one right there so you guys can see it. And then next week, Wednesday, 3 p.m. Central Time. So same time, same day. We'll be making this. And it's all on our extruded green foam wreath. It's very easily pinned on. It's all done with branches. So we teach you how to make your very own wreath, your own style. And a very popular project that we just did last week . This is the one we just did last week. This is on Michael's YouTube channel right now. It's our peppermint wreath. This was on our white craft foam wreath, 18-inch, but it could be any size. You could do it smaller and use less. And another thing you can find on there are these floral ornaments. Teach you how to do these 3 different ideas for getting some florals in your Christmas decorations. I think that's about it for today, unless we have anything else you guys want to see on here. Change it up. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for stopping. Thanks for making it fun with FloraCraft. We'll see you next time.